Hello everyone, today we are gonna take another look at a deck that has been growing in popularity the last 2 or 3 patches and is in tier 2 right now. The last patch it was still in tier 3 I think, but now it is in fact in tier 2. I'm talking about Deathrattle Demon Hunter, very fun deck to play and not that hard as well. There are a lot of different versions of this deck. The one I have is with oh, whoops! I just removed them. Nice. Hello. Can I? Yep. With this guy. Yep. Enzoth, God of the Deep, where you resurrect a friendly minion of each minion type. So there are different minion types in this deck to work with Enzoth, God of the Deep. There are also Deathrattle Demon Hunters without any Enzoths. You can also use the other Enzoth, the Corruptor, that is 10 mana. I'll post a picture of him on screen, and then you don't need the different types. But this is the version I'm running, and I'm having success with it. After I'm done explaining the basics of this deck, I'll show you some other cards you can include in the deck or some other versions you can run. So let's get started. The first card we have here is Fury rank 1. Give your hero plus 2 attack this turn. It upgrades when you have 5 mana, and then it becomes plus 3 attack. And it also upgrades again at 10, and then it is plus 4 attack. This is good burst, and it can also help you clear minions. So, like, imagine if you have 2 of them and it's turn 10, and that's like just 8 damage in your hand for 2 mana. So it's a very solid card with a lot of. No, it can do different things. It can clear minions, it can go face, it's cheap, so you can use it whenever you want, really. Then we have Illidary Studies. Discover an outcast card. Your next one costs 1 less. This is also a very solid card. 1 mana, you choose between 3 different outcast cards, and it's 1 cheaper. And that 1 cheaper can make a lot of difference. We have Tusk Piece, Deathrattle, draw a Deathrattle minion. Just a solid 1 mana weapon. When I have this on turn 1, I just play it and hit his face with it if I'm the first to attack. Because, you know, you don't really need to keep this weapon. It's just good to draw the minion. Then we have Boar, that's a beast. Deathrattle, summon a Deathrattle minion. That costs 3 or less from your hand. So, it's a beast, so it is 1 type for Enzoth, God of the Deep. And then let's see what Deathrattle minions he can get from this deck. 3 or less. So let's see. So that will be Death's Head Cultist, what a name. Or a Razor Fanbeast Master. So 2 cards. Okay. Then we have the Wandmaker, a common battlecry. Add a 1 cost spell from your class to your hand. A very solid card in this deck, I have to say. It's 2 mana 2/2. Doesn't seem flashy, but the 1 costs often help me out. And Demon Hunter has a lot of good 1 cost spells. Then we have Death's Head Cultist. I'm struggling with the name again. It's 3 mana, don't restore 4 health to your hero, and it's a 2/4. So this is, I think, the only healing you have in this deck. So it's solid, and the stats are solid. So good card. Then we have Felsteel Executioner. If it's corrupted, it becomes a weapon, and it's as a minion it has a 4/3 stat line, but as a weapon it also has the 4/3. So it's 4 attack, and you can attack 3 times with it. Of course, it speaks for itself that you always try to corrupt this thing, but of course, when you really need to, you can play it as a minion. Then we have Razor Fanbeast Master, a bit similar to the Razor Boar here. That it is summoning a Deathrattle minion that costs 4 or less. Like where the Razor Boar was 3 or less, this is 4 or less. But 1 second, I forgot to mention that this is a Quillboard, so Enzoth can trigger a Quillboard as well. That's also a minion type, and that would be Cultist or Razor Fan. Yes, because that's also Quillboard. So one of these 2. Of course, if you only played 1 this game, then it will be the one you played. So yeah, what can this bring from my hand? It could bring a Renowned Performer, a Fishy Flyer, or of course a Razor Boar, Death's Head Cultist, or a Razor Fan, the other Razor Fan. Yes. So a lot of things. So yeah, pretty solid. Then we have Fishy Fly. It has Rush, so it can attack the moment it's placed. Yeah, the moment it is played. Of course, only minions because that's Rush. Otherwise, it would be Charge. The Deathrattle is at another 4/3 Ghost with Rush to your hand. So it has a Deathrattle, that's why it's in this deck, and it has the Murloc typing, which makes it another target for Enzoth, God of the Deep. We have Raging Fell Screamer, Battlecry. The next demon you play costs 2 less, 4 mana, 4/4. In the beginning I was like, why is this card in this deck? I don't really have demons. Except you do have one, and this card is so good that it makes including this card worth it. If you can play this for 6 mana, because this will reduce it by 2, it is insane. But we'll come back to how OP this card is in a bit. Then we have a Renowned Performer. It's a 4 mana 3/3 rush. Deathrattle summon 2/1 assistance with taunt. Pretty simple card, speaks for itself. Then we have, I'm gonna butcher this, Alar. 5 mana Deathrattle, summon a 0/3 Ashes of Alar that resurrects this minion on your next turn, 7/3. So they can destroy the Ashes immediately, but if they don't destroy it, just comes back. This is another Deathrattle minion, and why is it in this deck? Again, for the typing, it's an elemental, so it works with Enzoth, God of the Deep. So what do we have? Beast, Quillboard, Murloc, and a elemental. Then we have Tayden 4th Ring, 5 mana Taunt, Divine Shield, Deathrattle again. Draw your highest cost minion. Why is this in the deck? To draw your Enzoth, God of the Deep, of course. And even when you have your Enzoth, drawing one of these is just as good, honestly. Then we have Skull of Gul'dan, draw 3 cards, Outcast, reduce their cost by 3, it's 6 mana. Outcast is of course when the card is in the most left or the most right of your hand, then it's an Outcast, and then you get the extra benefit. Well, of course it's insane when it's Outcast, you reduce the cost of cards by 3. That is actually very nice. But of course, when you have nothing to do on your turn, you're running low on cards, you can just play it as a non-outcast too. Then we have another very good minion in this deck. It's called Death Speaker Blackthorn. The battle cry is summon 3 Deathrattle minions that cost 5 or less from your deck. So we have the Razor Board that does 3, we have the Razor Fan Beastmaster that does 4, and we have the Death Speaker that does 5 or less. The big difference between these two and then the Death Speaker here is that he summons them from your deck, while the other two does it from the hand, and he summons 3. So yeah, what I think is good about this card is that it makes a board, and then if you play against Warlock, for example, they'll have to Twisting Netherite. Are you playing against a Warrior, they'll have to Brawl it, and that is very good, because if you play this, and then 2 turns later, you can play this, they probably won't have another answer for another full board, and then you just win. So this is kinda like a debate, in my opinion. Then we have the most OP card in this deck, in my opinion. Illidari Inquisitor Rush. After your hero attacks an enemy, this attacks it too. So, hear me out. What can this card do? You play it as an 8 mana, 8/8. It has Rush. You clear one of his minions. And if you're at 9 mana, you just hero power, attack the guy's face, and then this guy goes face for 8 damage too. So I usually play this at 9, unless I really have to clear something at 8. Or you play this at 7 when it's only 6 mana because of the 4 mana here. And then you can do, yeah, this for 6 mana and then the 1 mana hero power. So if he has no answer to this, you can do 16 damage. No, you can do 24 damage in 1 turn. Oh no, in 2 turns, sorry, cuz first turn, you play it and you attack with your hero power, you attack the opponent's face. He does 8, and next turn he can attack, and then your hero attacks, which makes him attack again. So there's actually 24 damage in 2 turns. And I've had moments where I had 2 of them in the board, and it's just over for the enemy. Very, very solid card. I think this is an auto include in this deck. I don't think you can leave this card out. And then of course we have another win con, Enzoth, God of the Deep, resurrect a friendly minion of each type. We've gone over the types we have in this deck. It was Beast, Quillboard, Murloc, Elemental, and of course Demon from Eladari Inquisitor. This guy is actually also a Quillboard, by the way. So we have like Beast, Quillboard, Murloc, Elemental, Demon. That's 5 types you can get on the board. So yeah, this is basically the deck. I'm gonna try to show you some other cards that could be included in the deck. If you are not running Enzoth, God of the Deep, you can include Sneaky Delinquent. It's a stealth 2 mana Deathrattle. Add a 3/1 ghost with stealth to your hand. It's also a 3/1. Ace Hunter Green, the legendary or other characters are immune while attacking. You can include Devouring Ectoplasm. Deathrattle summon a 2/2 adventurer with a random bonus effect. Fel Rattler, Rush Deathrattle deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Was there anything else? Yeah, glide, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4 cards. Outcast, your opponent does the same. You could include the other Demon Hunter legendary, Cthulhu, Ashfallen. Battlecry, attack the left and right most enemy minions, outcast immune this turn. I think I could include him in the deck, but I often take him from Eladari Studies over here. And then, yeah, those are some other things you can include in your Demon Hunter deck if you don't want to run Enzoth Call of the Deep. In that deck you can run no Enzoths, or you can run the old Enzoth, Enzoth the Corruptor, that is 10 mana. Versus aggro you can remove a glide, add an I-beam for some clear, and that is basically it. So my Deathrattle Demon Hunter deck has the Enzoth God of the Deep, where you have different minion types in it. You can also run a Deathrattle Demon Hunter with other Deathrattles, and then include Enzoth the Corruptor, the original Enzoth, or don't include one at all, and just use the Eladari Inquisitors as your win con. But that's about it. Thank you for watching. In the next video, I'm actually gonna take this deck in ranked and see and show you how it performs. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.